Welcome to Inside Bremerton. This is the City of Bremerton's video newsletter focusing on issues and topics important to its citizens. I hope you think today's topic is important because it really is to the City of Bremerton, and it is to all its citizens who want to shape what the future of our city is going to look like. Joining me is Allison Satter. Allison is a senior planner with our Department of Community Development. Welcome.
Thank you, Char.
Allison is all-knowing on comp plans, even though this is her first one ever, but the comp plan document is very, very important. So first of all, Allison, tell us what a comp plan document is.
Yeah, sure. A comprehensive plan document, what it is a blueprint document of how Bremerton should be developing in the next 20 years. So there's a lot of different aspects that come into it, including not just how the trends of Bremerton is developing, but also we have different threshold numbers, such as the population per our census is the 14,000 people in the city of Bremerton are expected to come to Bremerton and live in Bremerton in the next 20 years. And that's 18,000 jobs are also being anticipated to come into the city of Bremerton in the next 20 years. So how are we going to plan for those, 8 or 14,000 more people, the 18,000 more jobs, and all those, impacts that it has? And be excited, and we should probably plan how that's going to come to the city of Bremerton.
Yeah, exactly. So when was the last comprehensive plan update?
The last comprehensive plan was done in 2004. This is required by the Growth Management Act every 5 years. However, due to the recession of 2008, legislation considered that and knew that since all the jurisdictions had kind of limited down what their staff was, that it probably wasn't going to get done in that 5-time period. So they were like, okay, we're going to give everyone a couple more years. So ours is expected to be adopted in June 2016 to be compliant with the Growth Management Act requirements. And part of that, adoption of the comprehensive plan was we're looking back at that last one. And so it's kind of an important document. And the last one we did was, like I said, in 2004. And when we did that, it actually was a major update. And so the major update was kind of changing up how our growth strategy was going to be in the city of Bremerton, and was going to now promote centers concept. And so instead of just having, where existing commercial development is and continue commercial development, in 2004 they looked at it and they said, we really should focus our development into the centers. We should promote density, we should promote jobs in the places that we already have existing infrastructure. Let's not try to go and promote this wide expansion city of Bremerton and have, commercial development and density on the outskirts when we really could develop it where we already have existing infrastructure, save $1 to the taxpayer, and try to create it where we already have. So that was the push in 2004. Now we've been working with the document for 12 years when we adopt it. And then what's going to happen is we'll have a new one and we'll go forward hopefully in the next 5 years and relook at it again in 2021.
Right. So the important thing is we want citizens to be involved because this is about Bremerton. If you're living here, if you're working here, we really need your input. So Allison, what changes are we going to see, do you think, with this new comprehensive plan update?
So like I just mentioned, in 2004, we had that centers concept. And part of the centers concept, we are definitely continuing that. We think it is a great push for Bremerton, and it just makes sense that we should have really the center supported. So the overarching principles of the 2004 comprehensive plan are going forward. However, we have acknowledged that it is a great opportunity to make some tweaks that are definitely necessary and required. And some of those tweaks are just trying to revise and make this, streamline this document. It's currently 200 pages long. I know. And it has, I think I was counting over 100 goals. And for policies, I was counting somewhere over about 500. So when you ask someone, have you read the comprehensive plan? Do you really know where Bremerton's leading in the next 20 years? I would assume 99% of the population of Bremerton is not going to have read it. So that's where we struggle. So we're trying to make this not just necessarily a document that sticks up on the shelf, but a document that people use and can go, wow, when I'm coming to Bremerton or when someone's coming to Bremerton, hey, read some interesting facts about Bremerton, know where it came from, because that's part of the comprehensive plan is a little bit of history and how it goes forward. So that's our first thing. We're trying to revise, streamline the document just to make it user-friendly. What we're also trying to do is trying to acknowledge what existing designations we have kind of in the city. So as we promoted the 2004 centers concept, what we did is we had kind of different designations from the downtown to our district centers, which is, the Callow-Charleston district and the Wheaton Way, and then we had neighborhood centers. Well, as we're acknowledging, we need more development in the Wheaton Way and, redevelopment to occur before we necessarily have further commercial development in these neighborhood centers. So we're reducing our neighborhood centers. We've acknowledged, let's try to have existing buildings being redeveloped before we go and kind of push it out a little bit into the neighborhoods. So it's in our long-term plan, but for right now, let's just keep and reduce our centers. The last thing that we're doing is trying to acknowledge non-conforming uses. And non-conforming uses are kind of difficult to understand, or not too difficult, but a different term. And what non-conforming is when you have a piece of property that necessarily we go and say, as the city, we think residential should go here. Well, maybe you had that existing convenience store. Now you're a non-conforming use. So we're going through the city of Bremerton, and as we did the 2004 update, we kind of had these definitely centers, identified, and then other stuff we kind of had a blanket over approach. Well, a lot of non-conforming things got created, and so we're definitely looking at that. And the two big updates with the non-conforming that we're doing is, one, if we did a map error. If you have a piece of property, and I'll give an example, there's the car lot and Kitsap Pizza up on 6th and Pennsylvania. Well, in 2004, we zoned that as residential. It's not necessarily residential. We're acknowledging that that was something we probably shouldn't have done in 2004. So probably the business owners probably don't even know this is happening, but we're just fixing it. What we're also looking at, which is actually an exciting and new update, is we're going to try to create neighborhoods that already have existing multifamily uses. We're trying to promote those to go and say we would like to have redevelopment in this area. So we are going to now allow duplexes. In 2004 to now, if you bring up the word, can I have a duplex? It's like a bad word around there because we know we're going to have to say no to you in 90% of the city of Bremerton. So, and we have a lot of World War II housing and definitely pockets in the city of Bremerton, and it's really difficult when an owner wants to come to their property and go, can I go and redevelop my property? Can I have a duplex? I want to tear it down and build something awesome. And we have to go, no, you can't. And what happens is these buildings that definitely need some love just remain that way, and they just get into further and further disrepair. So we're acknowledging that really, if you are in a neighborhood that has duplexes, let's go and keep promoting that and having you be able to redevelop your property.
So what neighborhood specifically are you thinking about that would allow the duplexes?
So the areas we're looking at, there's a couple of them throughout the city. We're not trying to expand this throughout the whole area. We're just definitely focusing on those neighborhoods that already have the existing development. So north of Lebo of Lions Park and Lebo, there's a little pocket in there. And what I would recommend everyone do on our website, which is www.bremerton2035, because as we're trying to plan out 20 years out, so 2035.com, all these draft maps are on there. So as I'm going through and you're watching this video on YouTube, throw up on another website and kind of check out what these maps I'm talking about. And what the area is, so yeah, we have the Lebo Park. We have south of the Perry Avenue Mall. So that's over there, right up from the Lebo Park on the Pine and Sylvan. This is where the Willows is, the Bayview Apartments, even Blueberry Park and Armand Jar. We're promoting that to be multifamily because it's existing multifamily in the neighborhood. So let's continue. And if these people did want to go tear down, right now we would tell them they can't. They would have to subdivide. So let's acknowledge that they're an existing building, and let's try to promote, if they want to redevelop or make something even better with their site, let's allow them to do that. And there's just little pockets through West Bremerton, which are kind of acknowledging, again, those apartments that we just want to say this area is multifamily. And the last one we're looking at is Anderson Cove, which definitely could benefit from some redevelopment potential. And we have had some interest where we've had to turn around and say, no, you tear it down, you can only build a single family home, which right now people are getting 2 rents. No one wants to get 1 rent. So,
Amen.
Let's acknowledge what we have to deal with, and let's go and acknowledge that we're a built city. So let's work with that.
Yeah, great ideas, just really great ideas. So aside from the centers concept and neighborhoods and focusing on new development, what other things are important in the comprehensive plan?
So there are many different elements that we have to address by the Growth Management Act requirements. They have separated it just into different kind of elements, and there's everything from land use So what type of housing are we trying to promote? Do we want to tear down our existing housing and build new? Do we want to try to encourage redevelopment of our new housing? Because as Bremerton, we are an older city, so what's our plan? So we have to kind of have housing figured out. We have transportation. So one of the things that we're kind of
that's a big piece.
Exactly, and we're in a built city. We have limited right-of-way within our city. So one of the big pushes is we have to consider non-motorized transportation options. So that's the bicycling, the pedestrians, even the ADA accessibility. How do we get those in the city and to be a fluid network? So if people had comments like you've been in traffic and you have some opinion, because as you've seen, we have been dieting the roads even in downtown. So this is going to be a push, like it's going to continue in the 2016 update is what we're pushing now. Are we getting this right, public? Can you provide feedback for us? Do you want to see, we're pushing bike lanes because we're required by the Growth Management Act. Do we have support from the public? So there's a lot of different things that, everyone drives in it, and they say actually the transportation, biking and driving are some of the most dangerous things people do on an daily basis. So how do we go and have a safe network, but also provide what we need to provide to the, everyone in the city of Bremerton? So
excellent.
Many items, and even the capital facilities, which is how are we spending your tax dollars with this, within the city for the improvements that need to be done. We have a list of improvements. We need to prioritize that, be part of the conversation.
I think that's exactly what we want to hit home here, is be part of the conversation. So on our way here to do our taping today, we cruised the beautiful new Lower Wheaton Way area. That road is absolutely fabulous. You can see the examples of the super wide sidewalks, new sidewalks both sides, one side a little bit wider. You can see the bike lanes, beautiful new paving. So we want and we need more of that in our city. So take a look at all that. Transportation's important. Parks and Recreation uses this. All departments use the comprehensive plan.
All the departments are using it, and they actually are contributing input into it. This is not just something that's being pushed by my Department of Community Development. This is something all of the city's working on, because this again is our document that all of us need to be going forward with. City Council should be making decisions from this document, because this is the voice of the people. So we need to get this right, and this is why it's so important for you to go and spend some time looking at the website, looking at that release documents that we have, and provide feedback. We're so many people who could be looking at this. Please provide more eyes.
I think what we need to do is really drive home our website, and Allison, you can reach Allison. Her contact information, phone number, email address is on the screen for you. There's going to be community meetings. Go to the website. Think about, can we even comprehend Bremerton in 2035? Holy moly. It's very, very, very exciting. So Allison, share with us the website, please. The www.bremerton2035.com. And to kind of go off of what Char is saying is, there's many different ways for you to comment. That website is definitely for you to get more information, and you can also provide comments. But there's also many different other ways you can do it. We're currently having planning commission meetings. They're on the third Tuesday of every month. And part of that is we're talking every chapter for in 2015. Every month we're hitting it and going, let's take this in bite-sized chunks. So this month, let's talk about housing. What should be the push for housing within 20 years? So it's kind of, small little chunks. Next month in June, it'll be June 21st, we will be talking about capital facilities. So again, that's that list that's kind of going, where should we spend our money? What services should the city be providing to you? So we're going to be going through those details, and it is a little overwhelming, but we do try to provide a little bit of feedback. So we provide planning commission packets. Go on the website, check those out before the meeting, and you'll get a lot more background, the same information that other people are submitting. And so you can start considering and being able to provide feedback, because it is a little overwhelming, but we are trying to help encourage and how to get these comments going. So City Council's very, very, very involved with these. Of course, our city staff. The city has, and all municipalities in the county, including Kitsap County, has until June 2016, which is a year from now. So really, the heavy lifting happens now, all summer long. Allison's goal is by September to kind of have the document kind of wrapped up, so then it can go out for critique and criticism and pare down and
exactly
the edit process.
The edit process. So by fall of this year, we're hopefully going to have a draft document in its entirety for you to consider, because even though we're taking it by bite-sized chunks, it's kind of hard to consider the whole comprehensive Bremerton when you're taking bite-sized chunks, because of course, you know, as we're talking even Parks and Recreation, we're going to hit in July. So Parks and Recreation definitely affects housing, which definitely affects land use. So we definitely know they're all comprehensive, but we'll be hitting those up in September, maybe October. So look forward to that whole draft. But if you provide comments before that, definitely is more opportunity for get those considered and, you know, incorporated into the plan. So. But as always, we're going to be adopting it by June 2016. So we'll be going to City Council in 2016. So that's kind of your last opportunity to comment before we do adopt. So if nothing else and you're getting this in January 2016, please check out the website. And I'm sure this weather is not that perfect back then, so let's love it right now.
That's right. Allison, great work.
Thank you.
Allison is part of a fabulous team, the Department of Community Development. Please go to Allison one more time, www.bremerton2035.com. Allison's information is on the screen. You can call her, you can email her. There's many opportunities to give your input. Congratulations on this huge endeavor.
Oh,
and I know you'll do just great. Thanks for joining us on Inside Bremerton. We'll see you next time.